It seems like I always pick days where there's a thunderstorm looming. I don't know if you can see the barometer on the watch, but anyway, yeah, we got a thunderstorm that's rolling in a little bit, but I'm gonna grill anyway. So what we got here is a rack of pork ribs, baby back pork ribs. So this I got from the grocery store. It was frozen this morning. Pulled it out of the freezer, and yeah, it's pretty thawed. It's almost at room temperature right now. And I'm gonna season it and we're gonna grill it over charcoal. So let's go. Let's prep it first. First thing you wanna do is, sometimes when you buy this, there's a silver skin. This one has it. Let's get this off. Let's get my knife. You don't really need a knife for much other than to start it. There we go. You can do this with a hook too. Come on. You don't want to cook with that. That's not fun to eat. All you're doing is just tearing it off of the back of the rib, the concave side of the rib. This one's pretty good, but there's a big chunk of fat right here. I'm just gonna grab my knife and I'm going to trim it off. I'm gonna thin it. I'm not gonna trim it off completely. And this is gonna be a treat for the dog later. Now, I don't need that much on here. It's an awful lot, actually. And this chunk I'm going to keep. I like that. Might trim off some of that too. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, some of that's just going to add some nice texture. Okay. So, let me clean up my hands, and then we're going to start with the seasoning. So for the rib seasoning, I'm gonna keep it pretty simple. When I cook ribs, pork and steak, I start by cooking dry almost exclusively. I don't put wet rubs or anything on the meat. I find that if I cook wet, it just kind of steams it. I don't get a really good texture. So even if I'm gonna do like a barbecue sauce, I'll do that on the rib later. I'm starting with some mineral salt, which is, you know, like that pink Himalayan sea salt kind of thing. Pink Himalayan salt, coarse ground. Mostly I focus on the top end of the rib. I sometimes will season the bottom just with some salt. Keep one hand clean, especially with salt and stuff that you're going to be dipping in. I don't usually rub some stuff in, but again, there's not a lot of meat there really to season on the underside. You don't have to over salt it. Let's get to the rest of them. Coarse ground black pepper. Pepper, I would say, is kind of optional. You can do without it, but I like it for a little extra pop. But if you're going to skip the pepper, that's fine. Totally personal preference. You can make up for it in other ways. This is just onion powder. I like it. This adds a little bit of savoriness and will go along with some other flavors that I'm going to add in a moment. I think it's pretty good on pork. Ground mustard, totally optional. You can also use a wet mustard, but again, I prefer the dry. And this I'm gonna rub in a little bit. A little bit of garlic. Not too much. Paprika. I prefer smoked paprika. I'm not gonna use a like a liquid smoke, and I'm not gonna smoke this long over the grill. I'm just gonna use standard charcoal, not hardwood smoke. If I was using hardwood smoke, I would skip the smoked paprika, just go standard. This is coming out really slow, so there we go. It's kind of clumped up. There, a lot better. Come on. And this is a Lebanese red pepper seasoning that I got from a Lebanese food supply store that I like.
I prefer telling them how good it would taste at the end.
My son says to tell you how good this will taste at the end. This Lebanese pepper offers a bit of kick. If you don't have this, you can use cayenne. And then this is my favorite ingredient for a little bit of that people don't know what's going on funk. This is coffee. This is a medium ground coffee. This will add a little bit of
Bitter?
That's exactly right. It will add a little bit of bitter to counteract kind of the natural sweetness in the meat, because pork is kind of a naturally sweet meat, and some of the savory of the onion and the garlic and the spicy of the paprika and the Lebanese pepper or the cayenne or whatever else you're using. You can also, if you want to add a little more of a funky kind of flavor, you can add cinnamon, and I think that's a really good option. I've already added the paprika. So yeah, the grill isn't even started up yet, so I'm gonna let this sit on here for a second. Like I said, this is kind of up to temperature already, or the meat is up to temperature already. It's just gonna sit on here. The flavors will do their thing, the spices will do their thing with the meat, and change the camera over, we'll show you how we get the grill going. Okay, so I stacked up, flies get up there. Stacked up my charcoal and my chimney lighter. Put a little lighter fluid in there. You don't need it, but it helps. And first match went out. These are 15-year-old matches. There we go. And that'll go. So chimney lighter is just going to do its thing. If you light it from the bottom, it'll be a little quicker. But yeah, it's just going to force heat to rise from the bottom up. And it's going to light the charcoal. Then we're going to put it into these two trays. We're going to have a hot side of the grill with the Weber over on the left and a cold side over on the right. We're going to sear the meat over on the left side. We're going to cool it or let it cook slowly on the right. You'll see that. And then we'll have some meat to enjoy.
Before the preview of the dog who would eat pork that she got up and ready to eat. The dog is on hunt.
So it's been about 20 minutes and coals are doing a lot better. They're almost there. You can see, let's not light my camera on fire. They're pretty good. Nice glowing red, almost ready. Probably about 2 minutes away from being ready. And the sky is getting ready to open up. Let's dump them. They're close enough.
Prefer not to dump a lot of fire. is dumpable. Mine's dumpable.
First, I'm going to put just the fatty bit over the hottest grill portion, and let's just see what happens. Don't go over the grill because I don't want to melt the camera. So I put the meat convex side down to start off over the two hottest parts of the grill. I'm going to leave it uncovered for a little bit, mostly so I can observe it, but also the grill will be a little warmer when I leave it uncovered, and also it'll give a little better sear just on that one side, and it'll kind of encourage a little more flame growth if any fat drips off onto the coals. Give it a quick flip just to check. Okay, we're gonna have to go back to that side. This is not quite done, but we're gonna cook it on the concave side a little bit, and then we'll flip it back around. I'm just a little nervous because the sky is coming in a little dark, so I gotta rush this a little bit. Ready? She knows what's going on. Sit. There you go.
And she ate it. Good dog. It's thundering.
Oh, saw that. We're gonna have to pack it up. I'm going to flip this. Okay, so that is kind of the perfect amount to finish on the hot side. We're going to put it over here. I'm going to take the aluminum foil. I'm going to flip that just to cover it a little, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of protection on it. Then I'm going to cover that kind of quickly, and I'm going to head inside.
All right, RG. We don't want you to become a stuntman YouTuber right now because we don't want you to get burnt to a crisp.
Nope, I'm cooking pork, not myself. Okay, this will keep going for about 10 minutes, then we'll come in. This is what I'm working with. Gotta get the ribs off. I think they're done. Let's get them. Really don't even care if they're done. There we go. Dog knows I'm getting ribs, and she's ready. Okay, all joking aside, kids are ready too. Cooked a little longer than I expected. I was gonna let them rest a little more. Phone is going off with a whole bunch of alerts and everything from the thunderstorm, which was at its peak just about 5 minutes before I got the ribs. We were at about an hour and 15 minutes. That's real time, by the way. About an hour and 15 minutes total prep to finish cook. Really, I would keep these sitting for about 5 minutes, but whatever. It's not a big deal. You don't have to. They kind of slowed down at the end anyway, so that's fine. Fun fact: I'm red-green colorblind, and I have an iron stomach. I almost never get food poisoning. I think I've only gotten it once. And there are times when my friends have eaten tainted food, and I have eaten tainted food, and I've not gotten sick, but my friends have. Let's see, where are we at? Phone's going crazy with all the National Weather Service updates. 154 Fahrenheit. Let's go to the thick part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it in the oven. So, can't really see it. This is a cast iron pan. And I'm going to just plop them down. 2 chunks. And we're going to put the oven at 350. Maybe 325. And we're just going to finish them for another, we'll call it 15 minutes or so. And we'll check on them. And we'll get back to you. We're at 17 minutes. That's the chunkiest boy. Thermometer's over here. Oh yeah, light. There we go. Boop. 159. 159.3. It's gonna tick up in a second. Come on. Is it gonna tick up? Are we stuck at 159.3? Is that our highest? Thicker part, 155. 155 is fine. Okay. And that's the easily thickest part. So, I'm good. I'm good with that. If I was serving these to adults, these are for me and my kids, but I was serving them to adults, I would leave them in half rack form. But I'm going to slice them into 1 or 2 rib sections. And it's going to be my dinner and my kids' dinner tonight. So there we go. I'm actually going to take a chunk right now. I know I said I'm going to let it sit, but I'm going to take right here. Look at that. Good God. That's delicious. Try it. Yeah. There you go. Baby back pork ribs. Enjoy. Cheers, everyone.